I don't know if you guys know Francesca Fiorentini, I think her name is. She was on TYT, and she's been very critical of Cenk and Anna since their rightward shift. Well, Cenk just banned her from TYT, the TYT network, completely, fascinatingly. So he even did this whole video about it. I want to watch the video that he did where he talks about this.
What has it got you? What did it get you? When you go and share a stage with Dr. Phil, what did it get you?
Dr. Phil, people underestimate how absolutely insane Dr. Phil is, unfortunately. And he hides it really well. I don't think that Cenk is unaware, though. I think that he realizes how absolutely insane Phil is. Phil is all in MAGA. Like, he believes all the crazy shit about trans people, grooming children, and all of the insane shit, all of it. I wouldn't have a problem with anybody sharing a stage with Phil. That's fine with me. Be my guest. But you should be challenging him on the things that he says. That should be a prerequisite. That should be assumed. You should be prepared to challenge him. And Cenk challenged him on little to nothing when he did. We covered it, actually. You know, I released it on this channel. It's just really sad.
Nothing. You know why? Because you look like a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's a little toxic, but all right.
You look like a bitch. That's what it is. Like, that's just what it comes down to. You don't look like a fighter. You don't look smart.
Yeah, this is toxic. I can agree on that one. But he shouldn't ban her from other people's shows. This is not good faith criticism. It's just toxicity, seems like.
You look like a bitch. That's just the reality. I've tried to tell it to you nicely. I've tried to tell it to you cordially. I've tried to tell it to you on your show, on my show, on every show. And so either you, A, are a bitch, or B, you actually agree with the right.
So he says, how can you tell Phil McGraw believes MAGA's talking points? I've been watching him lately, long form. First of all, the video he did with Cenk, it became pretty obvious in the things that he said. And his ice raids, the things that he said in his ice raids video were pretty insane. And also, he has spoken on things that Donald Trump has done that are far, far right. Like full-blown fascist shit that Trump did. And Phil is behind it all the way. So I guess my answer ultimately is we as a channel together have watched long-form Phil content that has made it pretty clear to me. And, you know, it's still available on my channel if you want to watch more of it.
And I'm starting to think, in fact, I do think it's the latter.
Okay. So again,
Here's something. Phil, it isn't just that he buys into it. It's that he lies for the regime. Like he claimed that ICE is only detaining or arresting or deporting criminals when in that ICE video that he did where he was going along with Tom Homan to arrest people, Tom Homan openly said that they are arresting and deporting more than just criminals. They look for other people in the vicinity that might not look like they're white, and they take their driver's licenses, take their green cards, take their whatever, their information by force, their phones even, and scroll through them and find out who they are to see if they're here on a green card or if they're also undocumented or whatever. Criminal or not, they do that to people. That's what Tom Homan said. Again, covered it in the video that we did, the long form video of him taking ICE raids. Taking rides along with ICE on their raids.
It's the latter.
Okay. So again, if I had called her that would have been a different situation, right?
Yeah, that's toxic. Maybe don't do that.
Look, guys, also on the policy or the strategy, when you go talk to the right wingers, first we did that, and I mainly did that, and there was a lot of blowback saying don't ever talk to the right wing, but they won the popular vote. How are we going to win back the voters if we never talk to them? If we don't win them back, we can't ever win an election. And that doesn't mean the far end of MAGA. It means the independents that voted for Trump and maybe some right-wing populists that voted for Trump. Now I've noticed that faction is now saying, well, I mean, Of course, we should talk to the right, but we should only yell at them, or we should only accost them.
I mean, I think that you should most definitely not allow them to spread their propagandistic lies completely uninhibited. You should absolutely challenge them when they flat out openly lie, like not state incorrect things that they were mistaken about, but flat out lie. I mean, correct the mistakes too, of course, but Phil is just lying openly, intentionally, knowingly, making shit up to further his own personal political goals, in my personal opinion, of course. So yeah, why would you not challenge him on that? I don't understand. What are you even talking about right now?
That seems like a really productive conversation. And if now, I guarantee you, they'll say, no, I don't mean just yell at them, but just like build coalitions. As Francesca said recently, apparently she's changed her mind about being a collaborator, but not with Trump voters. Well, who would it be if it wasn't Trump?
What are you even talking about? Like, people are fine with you building coalitions. That's not what you're doing when you go on Dr. Phil's show and talk to him about the things that he's right about. Cenk he can't possibly believe what he's saying right now. Coalition building is something that like activist groups and lawyers do. You're a political commentator in this context. You're not building coalitions in this context. Coalitions are good. Americans United for the Separation of Church and State is an organization created by Christians to work with Muslims and atheists and Hindu and Buddhist and everybody to promote separation of church and state. That is coalition building. As a political commentator, you're not coalition building. You are reputation mending. You are reputation rehabilitating. When you talk to Steve Bannon on air and talk about like the things you have in common and how he's right about this and that, you're not coalition building. That's what volunteers should be doing. You are reputation rehabilitating. Simple as that.
Trump voters, those folks on the edge of the middle of the spectrum where that we got to bring to our side. We've got to convince them that the populist left is right, not necessarily the populist right, or parts where we agree, hey, great, let's work together on that. So who are we building coalitions with if it isn't the other side or people?
Again, coalition building is something that lawyers do. It has nothing to do with, or volunteers, or, what do you call it? Like activists on the ground and that type of thing. Not political commentators.
People who voted in the other direction. And if we talk to them, what are we doing? Only screaming fascists in their face? Or are we having a human conversation? So look, this is not an attitude that I agree with. Again, there are other shows that love what she's saying. And no problem, to each his own, it's a free country. Go and love that and yell and scream and do all the things that you want to do. But do you think that after you do a joint appearance with Dr. Phil or anyone else, that the very next day all of MAGA is going to show up and go, oh, I changed my mind? You're absolutely right. No, this is a gradual process where Americans begin to talk to one another and start to learn about each other and start, oh, that's what you mean. Oh, that's how you perceived it. And we begin to have human conversations until we understand each other. Again, if you don't want to understand them and you don't want to do that, plenty of other shows. So she said, I tried to tell him nicely. Did you?
Yes, yes, she did. I covered it on this channel. It's still up. You can watch the whole damn thing. She sat there politely, calmly, discussed this with you on her channel and gave you all of her grievances, and you tried to like weasel your way out of it and pretend that those weren't your grievances or whatever. Or I'm sorry, that you weren't doing these things or whatever it is. And now you're just denying that happened? Really?
Because I might have missed that part.
Apparently you did, because I certainly didn't.
All right, guys, you get it by now. Look, there's two other times that I enforced this rule. One was when Sam Cedar was doing it to Jimmy Dore, and they were both in the network. Sam's show was nominally in the network as part of our YouTube partner group, and that's what we were doing early on. And I was happy and thrilled with all the folks that were in it before, and then we stopped doing that since then. So God bless, no problem with that. And in terms of Sam and others leaving at that point, at different points from that network we were trying to set up. But while they were in the network, I said, Sam, you can disagree with Jimmy all you want. And in fact, I agree with you on that, on the policy you're criticizing him on, but stop doing personal insults. You're doing like personal insult after personal insult.
Yeah, maybe no personal insults. I agree with that. I try not to do that, actually, the personal insult thing. I think it's wrong and unproductive and makes you look really bad. It doesn't help at all. So anyway, I agree with that. And I will even take the additional step and say Francesca was also personally insulting Cenk, and it was needless. So in my opinion, it's totally justified for Cenk to not want to invite her on to be a host, and for him to basically wield his power to make sure that she doesn't come on any of their shows to insult or talk shit. I would ban that across the board, not even for her, but for everybody. No insulting and talking shit about people. And I would also say, I would leave it at that. And if she wanted to come on and talk about serious issues that were not like insulting people, then fine. That's my personal opinion.
So I talked to him about that. He wouldn't agree. He loved the personal insults. He wanted to keep going, and apparently that's a thing that he does like, and that's what he likes to do every time, apparently. And so, okay, that's Sam. But we did enforce it before, and then, ironically, the second time we enforced it was against Jimmy Dore when he was doing it to Francesca, and he'd called her an effing liar.
I didn't realize that Jimmy Dore was still in the TYT network. Is he still in the TYT network?
And he'd called her, and he said that she was a paid shill, which is a classic go-to move for Jimmy.
Jimmy Dore is definitely a full-blown right-winger now. Like, there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's very clear that he is on the far right, and he's a Trump supporter and everything else. So, yeah, there's that. But anyway, Jimmy Dore is a total scumbag, and this whole shill thing, I think that the claim that people are like paid shills is not often true. It's very rarely true, in fact, in my opinion. Like, Cenk is taking a hard right turn right now. Anna's taking a hard right turn. I don't believe that it's for clicks. I don't believe that it's for attention. I don't think it's for, money or whatever people think that they're getting. I just don't think that's the case. I think that they really believe this stuff. Honestly, I'll tell you why I think that Cenk moved over. I think it's because Anna is taking a hard right shift because she's having some kind of a weird political awakening, whatever you want to call it. And Cenk feels this strong sense of loyalty to her that is absolutely unshakable. And he is taking that shift right with her because of that deep loyalty. That's my personal opinion.
Although he misspelled it paid chill, which sounds pretty nice. And I said, Jimmy, you can't do that. Ironically, he's the only one who actually apologized and said, I won't do it again. And he apologized to Francesca. Francesca apparently thought, great, I'm allowed to do this, but no one's allowed to do it to me. Anyway, you guys get it. So I don't, like I said, I want everybody rowing in the same direction because we're trying to build something here. And why do we want to build something?
Again, I can appreciate no toxic nonsense, but don't ban her from other people's shows that are in the network. That's fucking stupid, honestly.
Because we want our movement to be strong. We want our message to get out there. We want to win over those voters because the bottom line in all of this is eyes on the prize. You've heard me say that year after year after year. What's the prize? The prize, by the way, note to other online hosts, is not more subscribers. The prize is passing bills because those are the only things that affect our voters.
Right, that's a totally different field though. Like, I came to find that there are different types of political activism. I engage in political commentary and the attention economy. My wife engages in policy, and a dude I know at American Atheist engages in litigation. Those are three primary types of activism that people use frequently. Particularly, all right, let me rephrase. As a policy person, my wife does things like she triages bills as they come in. Like, some MAGA senator writes a bill to legally classify Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. She basically writes up a document explaining what the bill contains, because bills are often legal documents that have legal verbiage in them and refer to like certain specific cases that have legal implications that laymen may be unaware of. And she kind of rates the importance, relevance, and danger of this bill 1 to 10. And I'm trying to think of what else. What else does she do that's really important and relevant here? And she activates people. She tells them this bill is happening. They're going to discuss it on the floor of the House. You know, we have 15 volunteers, 15 activists on the ground in like Minnesota, for example. And we want to get those 15 people to show up to this town hall where it's being discussed. So she writes like basically a big ass document, a script for them to read when they're up there at the stand, for other lawyers to, you know, points, talking points, sound bites that other people can understand and communicate with each other and to the news and stuff. That's what she does. And she also writes documents that, like, she writes messages to other senators and other House members and stuff that basically say, this is why we're concerned about it. This is what the bill could do. These are the possible ill effects, that type of deal. That's what policy work is. And when you're doing that kind of thing, you need to build coalitions like Americans United for the separation of church and state, a Christian group, or a non-religious group, I guess, but it's made up of many Christians. They have databases of different types of bills. They triage different types of things. They care about different stuff. So she gets in calls with them all the time. Them, the ACLU, and a bunch of others. She gets in calls with them to talk about what is happening in these other areas of the legal system and what other people are trying to do right now. That's coalition building. And Americans United and the ACLU and American Atheists will all send their volunteers, their SATs is what they're called, their activists on the ground. Just normal people. They're not, you know, don't have a college degree, they're nothing. They're just their bodies to show up to places, to discuss things, to convince people. They'll send out an action alert to these people that explains what they need them to do and what they need them to say when they get to this place. And, you know, sometimes they get like 100 people between all the coalitions to show up to protest one specific certain bill. And, you know, if Americans United helps us protest a bill on like atheists being banned from running for office, then we can help Americans United protest a bill on like homeschooling or something. That's coalition building. It's very different from political commentator, which is what Cenk and I are, where we don't coalition build, we argue, we protest people's positions, we tell them that this is stupid, and we try to persuade naturally. Very different fields, very different approaches, tactics. And Cenk started a group called Justice Democrats, or he was one of the early founders, or I don't know what his affiliation was, but he was involved heavily with Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk. So he knows what coalition building is, and he knows how it's different from what we're doing as political commentators. This feels disingenuous. It feels like a lie that he's laying down for us right now, honestly. It feels like he's twisting things around to portray it as something other than what it really is, in my personal opinion. By the way, American Atheist, fantastic organization. My wife works there, full disclosure, of course. But they're really good at what they do, and they're like, they're so helpful and valuable as an organization. If you don't have like any education, any qualifications of any sort at all, you can still sign up there and work with people directly. You know, religion is, they've got kind of a stranglehold on community. Like, they've got the community thing down. You want to be part of a community? Join American Atheists SAT team or the activist team. They get together every week and they talk to a lawyer, my wife, to figure out how best, you know, good strategy, things to say. And they meet for like an hour, sometimes more, and they just shoot the shit about stuff with a lawyer in the room to give them ideas about the best way to do this or that. Anyway, check that out.
audiences their actual lives. Let's pass paid family leave. Let's pass Medicare for all, higher wages, etc. And I hope wherever you are on the left-wing spectrum.
I'm sorry. So let me just step back a little bit, like 15 seconds, to listen to what Cenk was saying one more time to bring it back to what I was saying on the subject.
Bills, because those are the only things that affect our voters.
So the only thing that he cares about is passing bills. Well, then you're caring about the wrong thing as a political commentator. Policy workers, lawyers, SATs, like activists, volunteers, they should be the ones focused on passing bills, protesting, speaking at town halls, and building coalitions. You, as a political commentator, should be focused on persuading people of your position.
Audiences their actual lives. Let's pass paid family leave. Let's pass Medicare for all, higher wages, etc. And I hope wherever you are on the left-wing spectrum or the middle or wherever you are, I hope that you agree. And I hope that we all work together in trying to pass those bills. So please, eyes on the...
Like, they shouldn't be working together to pass those bills. They should be working together to convince people that these things are good. The people working on passing bills are not in the political commentator field. They're policy workers or litigators or like activists, otherwise activists. And Cenk would know this if he had ever worked in like a, what's the word I'm looking for here? In an activist realm or worked for an activist company. And like I said, he did Justice Democrats, but did he? I don't understand how he doesn't know the difference. Is this a lie or is he just like uninformed or what? I don't know.
Prize. And so look, I'm going to show you two charts here for a reason. So Media Matters did this chart recently. You guys, some of you might have seen it on air. And it has the right wing shows online in red, and it has the left wing shows online in blue. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
What we did there, and I hope you can see it, is we put a little bit of a green circle around the TYT show. So the Young Turks is right next to Rogan. We got 12 million subscribers, one of the largest ones in the whole chart. But Rebel Headquarters is also on there. Damage Report is on there. Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie's on there. And when you put them together, that's 18.8 million. And it is one of the largest presence in online media, period. If you include our...
Yes, I agree. And that is why it is so deeply sad to me that he's gone completely off the deep end. And it's particularly that Anna has gone so far off the deep end that she is just in la la land now. She is full right wing. And in my opinion, Cenk feels obligated to follow her out of a sense of loyalty.
Our alumni, people that have been in part of the TYT network in one way or another throughout the years, then we're at 30.1 million subscribers with the way that Media Matters does it. Today, actually, when you include all the platforms that we're on, some of which Media Matters did not count, we have 27 million subscribers. Now, why do I tell you that? Because guys, we're trying to build something.
Actually, they're moving right. So what he circled there, the ones in yellow, are the ones that didn't like what TYT was doing for one reason or another, and decided to get out of it. And the ones in green, the ones that are actively TYT, are taking a rightward shift for the most part. Or they're taking a yellow shift, i.e. they're getting out of it. They don't seem to, like John Idarola, I don't think he's talked shit about Cenk or even talked about the drama in any way, shape, or form. But I don't get the impression that he agrees with any of this stuff.
That Media Matters does it. Today, actually, when you include all the platforms that we're on, some of which Media Matters did not count, we have
a step forward here.
To build something. Fox News has dominated discourse in this country for at least 20 years, almost 30 now. And they've made an enormous difference, and I think for the worse, for the much, much worse.
Of course, absolutely.
We're trying to build a network that makes a difference for the better. But by the way, you don't have to agree with us, and you don't have to say, oh, well, okay, then great, and we should help you and support you. No, you don't have to do that. Build something of your own. Instead of being destructive over and over and over again, how about you be constructive? And you say, hey, Cenk, I don't like the way you guys are doing the TYT network. And I see that you've had this huge success, and you've given rise to other progressives that are now having success. And it seems like you helped to build something for our side. Well, you know what though, these days I don't agree with you. So I'm gonna build something larger. Guess what? I would love that. And whether you build something larger or not, you built, let's say you, instead of building a media company or a media show, you built a platform that actually got Democrats elected, but progressive populist Democrats like Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, et cetera. And then they got those bills passed. Oh my God, I would love you for it.
Again, that's not how political commentary works exactly. I mean, political commentary can be used to further policy goals, but as a political commentator, I can get, 2,000 people to show up to protest something or whatever. But hold on, I'm sorry, a loud truck. But that's really the job of the activists and the policy workers. It's not the job of a political commentator, really. It doesn't really work that way. Cenk just doesn't seem to understand. I can advocate for something and I can encourage people and try to persuade, but boots on the ground should be organized by like coalitions of like legal groups and nonprofits and stuff. It seems to me that's just how it works.
Please do that. Build something positive. And that's what we're trying to do here, okay? So, and I don't say this just for Francesca, and the reason I'm doing this segment isn't just for her or to explain what's going on, but I do want to be clear with you. It's mainly to tell you what we stand for. Not just the media end of it, not just the host, but as a community, we all have to be open-minded and open-hearted enough to get these things done and push forward. So, look, last thing is, I wish Francesca well. I mean, she said those things, and I get it. We've got bad feelings these days, but all the power to her, okay? If she can convince the country to be on her side on all these issues, even the ones we disagree on, terrific. Try that.
Okay.
Try to make that happen. And no problem, happy to have.
He's saying focus on that rather than talking shit about me. I'm glad that people drew attention to what is happening with Cenk and Anna, because if there wasn't this gigantic drama that exploded, people would probably not even realize that they're taking a rightward shift. Most people wouldn't even know it. And they would unwittingly be like being pushed in a right-wing direction without even realizing it. So the fact that this drama exploded and Anna Kasparian and Cenk are like this, the focus of this whole thing, and everybody recognizes like what's going on with them, that's a good thing. Now, I mean, why that's good is not because they're being attacked, not because they're being criticized or even slandered or whatever. It's a good thing because now people are aware of what is happening, of what they're doing. That is a good thing, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say on this point. I think that's good.
Like she said, good career before. I'm sure she will afterwards. You can go check her out wherever she is. So I don't have hard feelings. I'm not angry. I'm just done with it. I want a positive atmosphere here where we fight for you guys. And we do that in all different ways. So,
oh yeah, I forgot. There's something else I wanted to mention about Cenk. I was watching him have this discussion with Francesca a while back, and he basically said something that tipped me off to his headspace. Now, I've already been tipped off to his headspace by the fact that he just like eats up these right-wing framings, hook, line, and sinker. Like, trans people they have an unfair advantage in sports or whatever. That's just a right-wing framing. That's not like intellectually honest at all. I mean, there's obviously nuance. There's nuance to everything. If you're looking at something in a black and white way, then there's a problem, right? So I know that he does that anyway, but it kind of like, it really tipped me off to his mindset when I heard him say he has 75 people to take care of and 75 mouths to feed. And families, 75 families whose mouths he's feeding to make sure that, blah, blah, blah. That bothers me so much. My God, when I hear like a business owner or, like Facebook or something, they'll say, I have responsibility to feed all of these families. No, you don't. You don't have that responsibility. The people that work for you have the responsibility. That's like diminishing the work that they're doing and taking credit for all of it. You have a responsibility to sit there on your ass while these people run the company for you. You have a responsibility to like listen to what somebody says and then choose one of the options that they give you, and then they go implement the thing that they just suggested to you. It's like a landlord saying, I have a responsibility to make sure that, 15 families have a place to live. No, you fucking don't. You have a responsibility to sit there on your ass on a couch while other people work their asses off for the money that they make to pay you for doing literally nothing. You have a responsibility to make money off of already existing money. You have a responsibility to make money for doing nothing. Nothing. You are contributing nothing to society. Your only value is the fact that you own something. That is it. These people are putting in work. They are fighting and contributing as much as they possibly can. And you are doing absolutely nothing. So they have a responsibility to take care of your family. It's not the other way around. 75 people are taking care of you. It just like, I saw Cenk say that, and it bothers me so fucking much. I can't stand it. Capital owners, business owners, homeowners, property owners, like landlords, they aren't providing for somebody else. Somebody else is providing for them, and they're doing pretty much nothing for it. They have the easiest job out of anybody. It's so easy to be a landlord, for example. Not that Cenk is. I'm just saying it's so easy to be a landlord that you can be a landlord for 30 different properties at once and still have plenty of time in the day. You're literally making money off of nothing. Anyway, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking stand it when I hear that shit. It's you that is leeching from those 75 people, not the other way around. You are not taking care of them.
So if some hosts have a different idea on how to do it, great, let's have that conversation. We've had that conversations, those debates, those discussions, so we can get to the right answer and so we could help you guys decide what you believe instead of what we believe. So for folks who don't want to be part of that, bless your hearts. Go get them, Tiger, okay? But for folks who think, yeah, that's a great idea, and I'd love to pass the things that are in your populist plank, 6 incredibly popular policies, higher wages, anti-war, etc. Get money out of politics. So if we can do that together, whether we disagree on some issues or not, wonderful. But whatever you do, please roll forward. Please be mindful of others that are, in this community. Care for each other, love each
Anyway, there you go. Looks like that's the end. Care for each other, love each other.
And let's try to be positive together. And let's go build something as we always do at TYT.
Yeah, so there you go. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. I think that she shouldn't insult him or anybody. She should give honest criticism, but he is definitely wrong to like blacklist her from all of this stuff. Like so much shit. And Anna is definitely wrong for taking such a hard right shift, like seemingly out of nowhere. Tell me your thoughts.